So one of the things we all dread as salespeople, we walk in, we give this great opening pitch, we think, and then the prospect says, wow, that sounds really interesting. Can you just send me some information or leave me something so I can look at that and then I'll get back to you later? What do you do when they say that? Well, first of all, I want to back up and talk about a cardinal rule in sales. For me, a cardinal rule in sales is whenever somebody says, can you whatever, I am going to do everything in my power to answer yes. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to actually do exactly what they want, but I'm going to say yes. Because whenever somebody says, can you whatever, if you say no, then the sale is over effectively at that point. I mean, pretty much. Unless you're really far down in the sales process, you can do some kind of an honesty pitch where it's like, now, can you do this? And you're like, I'm going to be honest with you. I'd love to say yes to everything there, but that we actually can't do. Let me explain why. And you could do that at the end, but it's always a risky move. So I really don't want to say no to them if they're asking me something. So when somebody says, can you, leave me some information or whatever, I always say yes to that. That doesn't mean I do it, but I always say yes to it. The second thing you need to understand is that, and I think hopefully everybody, if you're watching this video and you've been in sales for longer than like a day, you should know that that actually never works. Never works. You are never going to leave someone your information and have them call you. You are never going to email someone and have them email you back. Never. It does not ever, ever, ever work. Okay? So if you're in there and you're like, no, you don't understand, James. I had a great connection with this person. They really like me and they asked me to leave their card and they're going to call me. I think they're going to call me. They're not going to call you. They're not, okay? So let's get that, misconception out of our heads and talk about what we can actually do that does work, right? So we have to somehow say yes, but not actually do what they want us to do, right? So how do we do that? Well, here's what we do. When they say, can you leave me some information? Absolutely. I would love to do that. Actually, I really appreciate you allowing me to do that. I really want to go heavy with that. Like, thank you. I really appreciate you doing that and being willing to look over my information and everything like that. So here's what I'd like to do. You tell me if this works. How about I send you my contact information via email, and then I'll also send you a little bit of marketing information about our company along with a savings proposal that'll tell you, roughly what our fees are and things like that, just so you can make an informed decision. Does that work for you? And they're like, that works great, right? You're just flowing right along with them. And then you're like, all right, cool. What's your email address, right? So you write down their email address. Okay, cool. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and send it over to you. Let me go ahead and get the savings proposal real quick as well, and I'll send it over to you. Now, let's see. You said the name of your business is XYZ Hardware. How much do you do right now in credit card processing volume? And what you do is you just pull up instantquotetool.com and you literally just put the information in there, and you're like, okay, cool. So let's see, what's your total volume? Okay, and they're like, they're just now, they don't know what to do because they just trapped themselves because they said they wanted you to send a savings proposal. Now, sometimes they will stop you and they're like, and then you're like, and now if you don't know this, it's fine because I don't have to have this information, but do you happen to know roughly how much you paid last month in credit card processing fees just so I can compare the two programs on your savings proposal? And they're like, well, I'm really not interested. I just wanted you to email me something. And then what you have to do is they're going to do that. Like they're going to stop you at some point and say like, no, I don't want that or whatever. You then just act confused and you say, and I'm like typing it in. I'm like, and so what's your total processing volume? And they're like, well, no, I'm not interested, right now in that. And I'm like, right. You just want me to email you the savings proposal and the marketing stuff, right? And then they're like, yeah. Okay. So what's your total volume? And then you just go right back to it. And they just don't know what to do with that. So they're like, we do about 20,000. And then you just go right through and do the proposal. Now, when you get obviously a little further along, then you're like, you get to the end, you just kind of forget about the whole emailing thing. And at least now you have their email address so you can email the proposal. So that's a nice fallback if you can't close the deal today or somebody walks in or whatever, you can email it to them and come back. You're going to have to come back. They're not going to actually look at your email, of course. But, now you just go through the proposal with them. And then when you get your like, oh, wow, look at that. This is crazy. It actually turns out we can save you X amount of money. We should probably talk about this a little bit further. Do you have like 30 seconds or a minute right now? Or should I come back in a week, or come back tomorrow or, whatever. So you just keep moving forward. And the way you do that is by agreeing with them, but then getting what you want. And that's one of the most common objections you're going to hear. So hopefully those objections will really help you out in the field. We got one more video coming your way, and that'll be the end of our little mini series.